Hey you guys, welcome back to another video. It's Alexis and we're going to be discussing all things astrology, all things pop culture. And if you like that, make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Keep the channel growing. I see y'all following. What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? Please let me know if the background is noisy. There's people cutting the lawn, and I was just like, okay, I just want to get this video out really quickly because I got things to do. But how are y'all feeling? How are y'all being this week? It's Monday. It's time to get that grind back. We are out here. Every time that I have this little wrap on, y'all just vibe with me. Just vibe with me, okay? Today we're gonna be talking about Tia Mowry and something that I thought was interesting that she said on, I believe it's a production that she's doing, and she was speaking with her friend Essence, and I love Essence. Like Essence literally raised us, right? Like Tia and Tamara have raised us. And I think that she has her new show. And I know the last clip went viral of her discussing the fact that her and Tamara aren't as close as they once were. And it had everybody in uproar. And I think it's just so interesting. I wanted to look at Tia's chart because she's been very vocal about her experience. She's recently going through a divorce. I don't know if it's been finalized or she did it or she's still going through the process, but she's divorcing her longtime husband, Cory Hardrict. And it's just been a lot for her. It's just been a lot. It's been a transition. And she's just been sharing her experiences and what's been going on with her. I know that a lot of people were dragging her because she was saying that, she is in the dating game. Like she went on a date and she was like, I am not liking these streets. I am not liking what's in the pond, like the swimming pool, the dating pool. It get all up pee in it. And you know, I think that she is just having a lot of realizations about herself and in relation to others. And, we just had this eclipse in Libra. So it has a lot of us thinking about relationships, past relationships, because this eclipse was conjoined to the South Node, Mercury. So a lot of contemplation, a lot of revitalizing reflection, um, a lot of pondering with ourselves as it pertains to different relationship dynamics that we have had in the past. And if you want a synastry between her and Cory, please let me know. But I really just wanted to focus on her because she's a topic at hand. She has really been going through it. I think that she was really unhappy in her marriage. Like she was the sole breadwinner, she was the sole provider, and not only that she is like the matriarch. Like she had young children, and she has this dynamic career. Like people that work in the industry, y'all know, like things are just very sporadic. Like one minute you're like, okay, I don't know when my next gig is, and then it's like 8 gigs back to back to back to back, and to do that and take care of yourself and then also be a mother. Like it's a lot. It's a lot. And with marriages, sometimes they just fizzle out. Who knows what the future holds with them? I know that she said that they maintained their friendship and that they're still doing a great work with co-parenting. So that's always great. But I know that she mentioned that she recalls losing her virginity to her ex-husband, Cory, at 25. And she stated that she never dated. And what's so interesting is that she met Cory when she was 20. She only started dating, and she was allowed to start dating when she was 18, And Cory waited 5 years before they even had sex. And after they had sex, they just immediately married. So everything was very like, the boy meets girl, girl meets boy, boy gets married. Like everything was very like, everything was very symbiotic. Everything flowed. Everything was done the way that it was supposed to be. And it's like, oh, okay, well, if my mom tells me, okay, you're supposed to meet a boy and you're supposed to be, reserved, and you're supposed to be kept, and, you're not to explore, you're supposed to be going to the home. You meet this man, there's possibility, you have a spark, now you're married, now you have kids. Like, it's very like one step, one foot after the other. Like, okay, we're doing it in this proper way. But a lot of women are tackling the ideas that they were never happy in that. They were following directions, and they were following what they needed to be, what they were told, and they were following this blueprint that, okay, if you find a man, you have this husband and you have this job and you know everything's supposed to be perfect. Everything's supposed to fall in line, when that's not really how things work, right? That's not really how life is. And I'm not saying that, she doesn't enjoy the fact that she's a mother. I'm sure that she does. She's a Cancer stellium. I'm sure that she loves motherhood. But, when it comes to a lot of women, they were duped. They were duped with this idea that they had to be of service to others, and like of service to their husband, focusing on the house. And like, Tia, she's a dynamic figure. Like, she is, she's Tia Mowry. Like, she had this rising stardom from a young woman into, an adult woman. We've seen her our whole lives, and she's been playing out for the people this whole life. Like, she needs this time to get back to her sense of self, to get back to herself. And I stated that with this eclipse in Libra, a lot of us are now reckoning with the fact that, oh snap, like I am my person. I am the greatest love I need. I need to get back to the relationship with myself. I am enough. I am whole. Everything else, those are just extensions. Those are just additions to my wholeness. But those things don't make me whole. And I think that a lot of women are coming to this understanding where it's like, dang, I got duped. I got, cheated out the system that told you, oh, you're not worthy. You know, you're not worthy without a man, and then you get a man and it's just like, okay, all right. But then the man stops doing his part, slacking off. And then you feeling like, I'm in this relationship, but I feel single. I'm doing everything by myself. I'm not having the adequate amount of help. People aren't understanding me. Everyone has their own lives. Like, it's a complex situation that I think a lot of women are experiencing. And Tia has the balls and the courage to state what everyone will be thinking. And the fact that, she is of this perceived elegance and opulence, and she's like, America's sweetheart and the girl next door. For her to be like, even I was unhappy with all the things that I had. I was still unhappy. I still wasn't satisfied. I still wasn't emotionally satisfied, even with all the things that were supposed to satisfy me emotionally. Like, I'm sure that she got her money up, this is that, but coming to the realization that she never got to explore, she never got to experience life for herself. She never got to do things solely for herself, instead of just sticking to a script, instead of just listening to what other people told her was the right thing to do. I mean, she had this blueprint from her parents. Her parents were together for like 40 years, and then they divorced after 40 years, and just seeing the decimation of their relationship. So then when she has this one, she's like, no, I'm not gonna be like my parents. I'm gonna make this work. And then like you cling on to this idea of what marriage should look like, or this idea of what life should look like, when it's not like that. It's like we all have this moment where like, wow, okay, like I need to make the life that I need for me. And and we don't even know what that really looks like, but trying and testing out new things and having new experiences gives you that new perspective. It gives you an ability to think and expand your mind past what you think that you should be doing, and what you think, and what you think, or what people think that you should be doing, right? And I thought it was just so interesting. And just like, I wanted to have a conversation about the fact that, she was raised in a very, very conservative household. I mean, she wasn't even able to date, in her teens. She dated when she was 18, right? And I'm sure that she didn't date a lot of people. And her husband was the first person that she, had sex with. And I'm not saying that you need to just spread it wide and to just, go all around town with your legs open, but, having that experience to playfully date, get to meet new people, get to go on different experiences, get to go on dates, like having people court you. She feels like she got left out of that because she was in this like conservative, controlling household. And a lot of women are coming to that realization that, like, I never got to experience these things. I was always told, okay, well, I'm just going to follow a line. I'm going to go get this job. I'm going to have this family, have these kids. Like, I remember at my old job, I was talking to this woman. She's like in her 50s. And she's like, how old are you? And I'm like, I'm 24. She's like, man, if I was you, I would just be traveling. She was like, I love my kids, but knowing what I know now, I would have never had them. And that really stuck with me because I'm 24. You understand? Like my mama, I come from Jamaican household, from not migrated, but they came from Jamaica. A lot of the time, even in just like minority culture, it is it's normal to have kids at a young age, right? It's normal to shack up really, really quick. It's normal to be with somebody for, 20, 30, 40 plus years and have a bunch of kids. And, almost not all the time, but almost have to like struggle, have to like work hard to keep the family going, keep the dynamic going. There's always a saying with like African homes, Caribbean homes, like focus on school, don't focus on this, like that's not important. Focus on school, don't date, do this. And it's just like these are important information and important advice for young girls especially. But I think it's important that we allow young girls to date, to try, to experience, to set the parameters, set the boundaries. Like, no, you don't need to be having sex, but to allow young girls to feel the joys of childish love, of having certain expectations and them not getting met, of you really liking a boy, but then you find out that he's not really the best for you. So then you find the courage to leave soon, right? The sooner the better. And that you have this muscle so that when you meet another person, oh, they're not really for me. Okay, I'm just gonna move on to the next. I'm just gonna fall back. I'm gonna do me, like so that it's easier to kind of get yourself out of these relationships so that you're not stuck, in one area with this person and you feel obligated to continue this dynamic with somebody when really you're better off without them. And I think a lot of women, because the North Node is in Aries, and Aries is a very selfish sign. Like fire signs, they are really, really good at like setting boundaries and being like, no, I don't want to do this. No, this isn't for me. No, I'm cutting this off. Like they are really, really good with that. Sometimes it can be almost a little bit impulsive, but they have that fire. Be like, no, I know I'm enough. I know that I'm confident. I know that I'm gonna get the job done. And we have to instill this into our children. We have to instill this into ourselves as adults to really come back to ourselves and realize that we are what we are looking for. We are the loves of our lives. We are the matriarchs. We are the fathers. We are the authority figures in our lives. We have to know when to let ourselves have fun. We have to know when to get back to work, to be structured, to be stoic, and and I think that Tia and Tamara, honestly, I think that they're very interesting. I think that they're very interesting and they're very complex and nuanced because of the cultural differences that they come from. Like, their father is white and their mom is black, and culturally, they really like cling to the different sides of their ethnicity. And I think it's so interesting to see. I think it's really interesting to see. I think with Tia, most likely, I mean, because she's surrounded by so many Black women who are like, I've gone through it, right? And because the cultural differences that they both stick towards, it's a little bit different for Tamara because she's more of like, she embraces more of like her white side. Her husband is white, like I think for her, she could have the similar feelings as Tia, but because of the cultural differences, I mean, a lot of white women, they're not going to overtly say what they're feeling, or they're not going to overtly speak about what's going on or what's affecting them. They're just going to do things in a very passive way, or like very like much behind the scenes wanting to save face. But I think what I love about Tia is that she just wants to speak her truth. She just wants to speak her truth, and she wants to uplift the community that has continued to uplift her, and that one that she has thrived in, and one that loves her and supports her. Like, I think it's just interesting. I think really having these conversations about how the effects of religion and the structural effects of patriarchy, of white supremacy, of religious persecution has really attempted to keep women small and not to explore and expand who they are. I saw this post on Twitter. I'm gonna read it for y'all. And I was like, girl, huh? Like, I, I was just really confused. Okay, so oh my gosh, and if you see this thread by oop, Ola_truth on Twitter, it said Tia and Tamara were raised in a Christian household. Tamara saved herself from marriage. Tia lost her virginity at 25 and married the guy she lost it to. Religious upbringings can teach girls not to believe that they have options and are against exploring them or their sexuality. So then this girl, she tweeted, the way that society groomed people to believe you need to explore sexuality with multiple people is crazy. Sex is sacred and you don't need multiple partners to figure yourself out or to find yourself as a woman. It was never even intended to be that way. And while I do agree with the fact that sex is sacred, I was like, I think you're missing the point that sexuality doesn't just include having sex with people. Rather, dating and exploring what you want and don't want in relationships is an important factor. The patriarchal systems are set in place to minimize women and reduce them solely to be of service to others, to be of service to men, to be of service to these jobs, to be of service to these children. And it's like, who's of service to these women, right? Who is going to uplift and pour into the woman who have been pouring into society for decades and decades and decades and decades and decades? And I mean, even with all these conversations around women and coming to their truth and speaking their truth and coming into this understanding of like, I'm not happy. This life that I was supposed to be guaranteed to make me happy is not making me happy. I am depleted. I am depleted of my love, of my resources, because I was told that my value comes from me supporting a man that does not support me. And I'm not saying that Cory didn't support her, but I'm just speaking in a generalized term, that a lot of these women are feeling duped. They're feeling like, I'm not just a meat sack that is for your pleasure. I'm not just a maid to service you. I have so much more to offer. I have so much more to offer the world. I have so much more to offer to myself, first and foremost. And I think that when it comes to deconstructing the colonized mindset, we need to have conversations like this, especially in the Black community, right? Because, you know, due to slavery, due to experiences that we had, we were lower on the totem pole of social hierarchy. So I know there's this conversation of like, oh, people these days don't value marriage. It's not that people don't value marriage. It's just that we're having these cultural conversations that are asking us, how are we in service to ourselves before we can be of service to others? Like, women are having these conversations, women who are, you know, attracted to men. What are the men doing? What work are they doing to be of service to women so that they can be in their life and have access to them? If you're not doing your part, you're not going to have access to us. And that's just what it boils down to. And if you're not actively working on yourself, if you're not actively trying to unpack what was going on with the patriarchy, what's going on with colonial racism, institutionalized racism, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, women are not playing with y'all. Women are not playing with y'all. Okay. And this fear mongering around, like, oh, well, if you're so, you know, if you don't allow men access to you, you're going to die alone with a cat. I'm like, girl, when I think about me in my crib with a cat, I feel peace and harmony and quiet. Oh my gosh, sorry about the background. But when I think about a man, and I'm not talking about the men who are working on themselves, I'm not talking about the men who are doing the work, who are, trying to be better for themselves, not only just to be in a relationship, but for themselves, When I think about the men that want to suck you dry and not in a fun way, when I think about the men who are parasitic in nature, when I think about the men who are jealous and envious of their female counterparts, when I think about the men who purposely trap women with babies so that they can continuously access them, I get tense. I get nervous. It throws me off, right? And women don't want to deal with that. Baby is it's 111. Amen. Amen. Ashe, Ashe. So I love conversations like this. We're having the bigger picture conversations. I mean, even it would be hard. I mean, even with like honestly, the dating game hasn't really changed decades ago. It's just because of social media, things have really bled into the culture and bled into society. So there's a lot of people with unrealistic expectations when it comes to dating and different dynamics. And honestly, if a guy is not willing to put the work in, if a person is not willing to put the work in and show you that they deserve to be in your life, and they're not actively taking steps to show that, what can I do? I'm not gonna chase you. I'm not gonna chase you, baby. Sorry, I'm just gonna stay here and I'm gonna be relaxed and I'll be comfortable. But enough rambling, y'all. Enough rambling and ranting. I just wanted to have that conversation because I think that tackling it from that perspective is very, very interesting. Because a lot of people are like, oh, well, you had a good man. You had a good man. Go back to him. Bitch, you go back to him. Fuck. Just because I had an experience with this guy doesn't mean I have to go run back to my past. No. When you declare yourself as new, you are new, right? It just takes a little process, a little transition process for you to like come back into yourself and really face all those shadow aspects of yourself. But when you truly love yourself and accept yourself, you accept all of your flaws, you accept all of your baggage, you accept all of the things you want to work on, and you still choose to love yourself and show up loving yourself every single day. Can I get an amen? Oh, all right, y'all. Oh God. I was just on my homegirl's live last night and I was like, oh, I wish I could just call in because baby, I got things to say. I got things to say. Okay. But I really want to look at her chart because I don't know, I've never really looked at her chart before. And one thing that really, really stuck out to me that I really want to expound on. So y'all rocking with me? Y'all still here? Still here? Okay. And I promise y'all, I'm not a misandrous. I promise. Like I'm just like, girl, I'm not about to deal with it. Like the whole like writing paragraphs and like trying to force somebody to be in my life or do right. I'm not forcing you to do nothing, baby. If you don't want to be here and you don't want to take actions, uh, have a good day. Have a good life. You don't have to be here. I don't want to force nobody to do nothing. That goes for relationships, that goes for friends, right? Like I know that I'm enough. I know that I'm good. I know what I can give, and I'm just giving it to myself. Like, ooh, it is what it is, y'all. Like, it is what it is. Don't lose hope in yourself. Don't lose hope in love. Just be like, girl, and move on. Because stressing about it isn't going to make the situation even better. Okay, let's get into the astrology. Okay, so. So, wait, let me see if I can see. Okay. So Tia Mowry is a Cancer Sun, Cancer. Oh, woo! That's a lot of Cancer, child, with a Cancer with a Jupiter in Cancer. Oh my gosh! And her Cancer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And her Cancer Sun is ruled by her Cancer Moon. So when it comes, like when she feels something, she feels it very, very strongly. And she, like, when a Cancer makes a decision, they're not moved. Like, they're not gonna go back and try to rectify a situation. They're making it and they're standing in that. Like, that's why I love Cancers. Like, it's that cardinal energy. Like, when they move, right? And there's not a lot to get them to move back. But with her Cancer sun ruled by her Cancer moon, like, she is very, very, both Tia and Tamara are very self-identify with family, with being the matriarch, with wanting to nurture the home, wanting to have harmony in the home. Right? And she gets her abundance from that. Like, she feels good in a comforting environment. She feels good giving and loving and nurturing. She, like, it sparks her up. Like, you can tell that she really loves being a mommy. And what's so interesting is that Jupiter in a woman's chart represents the husband. And she has Jupiter conjoined to her sun. So this could be that naturally, like, her husband is in the home, because it's ruled by Cancer. And it's her Jupiter in Cancer is ruled by her Cancer moon. So this could be that she likes, like, her husband could be someone that's very familiar to her, spending that familiarity, like wanting to work out things with somebody because you feel familiar, you feel comfortable. Like, a lot of Cancer placements, when it is harder for Cancer to, like, let go of things, because when they have, it's like being in a pool. Like, when you are filled with something, it's hard to just, like, get rid of it, right? You have to, like, literally pour buckets out manually. You can't necessarily, like, move it. It's kind of immovable. It's like the ocean. You can't, like, move the ocean, but you can do things slowly to, like, push the water back and it decrease and let it pull back from the tide. This could be her, like, literally having her husband at the house. Like, her husband is home. Her husband not only reinvigorates this nurturing aspect of her, but it makes it feel like she wants to have a home. She wants to have a home life. She identifies with a mother. Even if she didn't have kids, like, she could be somebody that has, like, a very, very amazing warm presence where she's just like, oh my God, I love you. Oh my God. Like, or is she, this could even give her, like, a larger than life personality, because it's Jupiter, like, it expands everything. But with the sun, it can kind of, like, burn the asteroid or the planet that's next to it. So there could be a little sense of, like, um over personification of the sun emphasis. So maybe she could, like, put on a little bit of, like, oh my God, I'm so loving, but then it's just, like, moody, like, you're get away from me. But this can even give her the ability to, like, look at the brighter picture of things and, like, really have um like, really know how to, like, save face, really know how to um honestly just act, right? Honestly just act and, like, feel like she has an ability to, like, tap in, to be like, okay, well, let me just look at the brighter side, let me just look at the bigger picture. Like, she can, like, this can kind of give her, like a Sag personality, almost kind of like, okay, well, we'll figure it out, like, it's not like, this could be someone that doesn't want to stress about little things, doesn't want to stress about things changing. So when things are really, like, in the reality and things are messing up, this could really, really disrupt her sense of self and really make her feel like she's not in alignment, not abundant. And then she has a Mercury in Leo, super cute. She is a performer, of course. She has a Venus in Leo, and what is so interesting is that she has her Venus in Leo conjoined to her Saturn in Leo. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm so goofy today. This is so interesting because, she said it herself that she wasn't allowed to date when she was younger, and the first time that she dated was when she was 18, technically an adult, right? And she met a guy at 20, had sex at 25, and got married. Like, this, like, Saturn conjoined to Venus, this could really denote people who are, like, and this could play out in so many different ways. Um meeting the love of your life, Venus and Leo, like, you're very, like, your values are, like, you love, like, the dramatics, you love the entertainment. So naturally, of course, she is an entertainer. She could have met her husband on like a set or a movie set or a TV set. This could really look like having a relationship that is like a very, very long-term relationship. Like, I don't think that Tamara doesn't really give me like, oh, I'm gonna have a sneaky link. Like, she wants the familiarity of somebody. She wants to feel loved. She wants to feel pretty. She likes a pretty face, but they got to come with it. They got to come with the consistency. Like, she wants a consistent partner. She wants somebody that's going to show up day in and day out and give her that stability that she needs. Like, even with it, Venus and Leo is kind of like, oh my God, like, yeah, like this person, yeah, they compliment me. Oh my God, this is my boyfriend. And like the next day be like, girl, we broke up, whatever. Like, but that Saturn aspect there is like, you need to make me feel good physically, but you also need to show up for me. You also need to prove to me that you are in this for the long term. Because Saturn rules time, Saturn rules diligence, Saturn is restrictive. And this could even denote her having restrictions in her love life, in her relationships, in her value systems because of some like authoritative force, like her father, right? And this could even, I mean, it's in Leo. Leo rules over the fifth house. The fifth house has to do with romance, it rules over children, it rules over creativity. So this could even look like restrictions in the area of dating and romance and creativity, right? And even I feel like even if she doesn't necessarily go back to Cory, I feel like she'll definitely have another long-term relationship, but it takes her some time to kind of allow people in, allow people to get close to her. I'm sure that she can love people, but when it comes to like really coming in, it'll take some time. It's gonna take some, and I'm saying that if you have Saturn conjoined to your Venus and you're not gonna get married till you're 50, like this is, I'm talking about Tia, okay? Um, but she needs that. She needs that consistency. She needs that dedication, right? And she needs a little bit of restriction. Like, she needs to feel like, nah, nigga, like I'm making sure you do your work, you putting the work in because I'm worth it. Like, she's not like, if somebody is like complimenting her and making her feel kind of good, she's like, okay, yeah. But then they're shifty, they're inconsistent, they go. She gonna be like, girl, you're not even really ready for all this. Like, you're not even ready for all this at all. And then she has her Mars in Virgo. Again, this kind of just reiterates her. Like, she is like the housewife. Like, she is like this like submissive woman. She's motivated by acts of service. She is motivated by being service to others. But just because you love, like, your love language can be like, oh, I love doing things for others, I love giving people gifts or whatever, that doesn't mean that people can't rise up and do the same thing for you. And I'm sure that she came to a point where it was like, girl, I'm doing all this for all y'all and y'all not even putting in the same work. Like, no, it gets draining, it gets tiring. Especially as a woman, you are supposed to be receiving, you are supposed to be allowing, you are supposed to be, relaxing, And honestly, I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but honestly, if Cory can really like step up to the plate and really show her, I feel like they can give it a second chance. But sometimes you do kind of need like a moment of just like absence. You need a moment of like a breather. And I mean, divorce is divorce, but you can always get remarried. I'm just kidding. But she needs someone that's gonna really like show up for her and really give her that dedication and give her that love that she needs. I'm not saying that she doesn't have the love for herself, but I want her to experience just the fruits of her nature. I want her to have somebody that just is going to love on her, is going to spoil her emotionally, physically, financially, and let her know that she is important, that she is enough. But she also has to allow and be open to the trials and errors of dating. Like, I know she was like, girl, this is ghetto. Like, I don't want to be in this. And it's just like, girl, this is dating. This is dating, like allowing yourself to let yourself meet new people, having different attachment styles, people having different perspectives. I think the bare minimum is somebody that cares for you, someone that likes you and actively likes you, and someone that really supports you. I think that's the bare minimum. And if she's not experiencing that, then just be open to possibilities. Let people surprise you, and even if it's not like this is going to be a long-term thing, allow someone to just like experience a moment with you, even if it's just like a month or 2 months. Just have fun. Have fun. I'm not saying you got to have sex with them, but allow yourself to just enjoy the experience, to allow yourself to enjoy the journey of dating, because that's what dating is, getting to know people. You go on dates, you meet this person. Oh, okay, I don't really like this person, and I don't really have the same values. Have a good life. Like that, it doesn't have to be. And I know with her cancer, she's just like, I want my husband already. Like I need somebody to know that they're ready for me. But some people are just not built like that, unfortunately. Or fortunately. And she has her North Node in Libra and her Pluto's in Libra, and she has her Uranus in Scorpio and her Neptune in Sag, and she has her Chiron in Taurus. There's a lot of like our millennial baddies. I mean, are they millennials? Older millennials? There's a lot of our girls in that Taurus and Chiron generation. And it's just like, I want to give y'all a big, 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 big hug, because Taurus rules over the second house. That's our values. That's money, right? So with Chiron there, it's like not feeling valuable enough, not feeling valuable in your finances, not feeling enough in your finances, not feeling valuable with your self-esteem. I mean, it's opposite Uranus too. So this could be, not feeling valuable from other people, since it's ruling the eighth house, which is other people's money. Other people's money, it can be just inheritance of other people, other people's values, other people's opinions, other people's thoughts. Like it's the house of merging. So you shaping your sense of self from an understanding of somebody else, and it's shifting and it's opposing your own thought pattern about yourself. It's opposing your own self concept. So, and I think, and Uranus has been in Taurus, so Uranus probably touched her Chiron a little bit. So I think she is just, and we're going to speak about this a little bit. We're going to speak about this uno momento. But what's so interesting is that she has this big fat square with Sun square Pluto and Jupiter square Pluto, right? And Pluto in our charts is all about power. It's all about highlighting the darker aspects of humanity, of human nature, which is about, the taboos of life, about obsession and darkness and manipulation and the darker aspects of human nature, in order to access a sense of power, right? A sense of power over others in Libra, right? Power in our relationships, that relationships give us power. And with the eclipse on her Pluto and her North Node, it's about cultivating this power that you have been growing and raising and giving it back to yourself. And because Libra is the mirror, and like Libra placements, they really thrive off of, because it's like the seventh house, having like, if you there's a lot of saying about the seventh house and like seventh house placements. It's like, in order to make an idea that's mine, I have to bounce it off of somebody else. And for her, that can be something that's very, very common for her. Like, especially with being a Cancer, I mean, it squares, the cardinals energy squares each other. So there is like a disrupt of like the power you get from others versus how can I cultivate my own sense of power. And if the family dynamic is shifty, it's breaking, how can I still identify my own power outside of these external means, right? Because it's something that she's been raised with. Like Pluto was the generational planet. Like this is something that she has attributed for a sense of power for a long time. I mean, even like she is in the entertainment industry, like her network, her connections, she builds off of that, like building off of a sense of like fame. And with fame, what do you have to do? You're playing a role. You're entertaining people, you're letting people see one aspect of you, but really it's like, how do I restrict myself from these contracts, from this perception, from this idealization of myself, and have this power back to myself. Like, I can even see, like, Tia would go and, like, be in front of people, be in the camera, and have this larger than life personality, but then come home and it's just like, what do I have here? What do I have for myself? Like, I built this life, but it's not the life that I necessarily want. And now she is building the life that she wants. She's building the life that she was always meant to have, whether that has to include a partner or not, right? Because it's all about her coming back to herself, her having better relationships with other people, her being a better negotiator, being a better mentor, her being a better collaborator. And I think that she's she's coming back to herself after years and years of years and years of coming back to others, coming back to being a nurturing figure to others. Now she can be a nurturing figure back to herself. I mean, even the fact that she has Mercury and Leo opposite her Scorpio and Uranus, her Uranus and Scorpio, this could even be her just like being like a very disrupting force, like her speaking about taboo topics where she kind of just gets met with a lot of criticism, but she has this like need to speak her truth and to rebel and to be bold and to be rash, um and a little bit of dramatic, but it always comes back to like wanting to explain herself and express herself in the best way possible. um and I love that. Good for her. Good for her. And I think that she's just brave enough to just be like, I know it's going to come with some criticism. I know it's going to come with some people who are not going to understand. And then even with like her Virgo Mars opposite Neptune and square Neptune. Oops, this is square. Child. This could even just be like having like an idealization when it comes to her motivations, like really being like, I thought this was supposed to give me security. I thought this was supposed to make me feel differently, right? And even like a disconnect when it comes to her sex life. Like, she might have really, really high expectations of certain things and really want things to look a certain way because it's in Virgo, like very, very like Virgo can be kind of like nitpicky because she's like, I want it like this, I want things to be like this. And then people are just like, oh, like, no, no, no. But I think that, if she had like a partner, I don't really know what Corey's placements look like. If you want me to do a synastry on them, please let me know. I just want to do like a quick little brief drive by on her chart. Um, of some things I've seen. But yeah, I mean, she has like a decent chart. It's not anything crazy, but I just saw that and I was like, wow. Sometimes astrology can just be very literal. My scarf is just like completely moving around. But yeah, you guys, this is really much it. Like, what do you guys think about this? What do you guys, especially when it comes to the conversations that a lot of women are having, that a lot of people are like, "Oh, I guess I don't want relationships. Oh, I guess I don't want kids." But it's not really out of a sense of like empowerment, It's more of like, these men, they're not they don't have the same, they don't have the same struggles that we do. And it's always been that way. It's always been, oh, we live in a man's world. We're here to satisfy the men. I even I tell my cousin all the time, I allude to the scene from Rick and Morty when they were visiting the Gazorpazorps. And it was just like all the Gazorpazorps men were kicked off of the planet. And they were like these brutish, aggressive people who were just like sex craved, and it was like a woman run society and everything was so beautiful, and it was like, oh, how are you, hello, how, like every I mean, think about it, like this is the world that we are coming to. If men don't get their shit together, the world is just gonna move on without them. Eventually we're all gonna get to a point where like, and of course there's going to be women who are going to be pick-me's and, oh my god, but we have to be for them. We have, if their mothers aren't here, how are they going to function? Baby, they're adults the same way that we do, right? They got to pick up their slack. I'm sorry. This whole like catering to men is outdated and it's old. That's why we gotta vote, y'all. I'm serious. And if you guys are interested, look into the 4B movement that's going on. Women, this is an American thing. Women around the world are like, I'm not going to procreate, I'm not going to date unless these men get it together. Even this dude that I briefly dated, I'm like, girl, are you a baddie? Like, do you want me to chase you? I'm not gonna chase you, darling. I'm just not. Like, I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not gonna fight with you. I'm not gonna yell and scream and, oh my god, that's what you gotta do. I could just leave you alone, babe. I could just leave you alone and continue my life. And that's what a lot of women are doing. So, men, fellas, get it together. Because Pluto and Aquarius, all this shit gonna be different. But yeah, you guys, this was it. Oh my god, this was more than I anticipated, but I love that. I love just talking to y'all and like getting my shit off with y'all. But until next time, you guys, have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week, and I'm gonna see y'all again. And then make sure if you want to work with me one-on-one, you email me at goldenflamehealing@gmail.com. Bye.